I'm going to do all new stuff tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so some of it has not been tested. And I guess this is it, huh? Well, are there any requests? Maybe I'll do a couple of old things from my novel Classics of Great American Literature, on sale here at the Hardback Cafe. See me after the show and I'll sell you one. Okay, can I have everyone's attention, please? Can everyone be quiet? Because I'm going to read Little Debbie and the Cypress Forest. One day, little Debbie was walking through the cypress forest when she noticed how long, slender, and slick with pond scum the cypress stumps were. She sat down to admire their beauty and accidentally admired the beauty of a particularly large stump with her ass. As the years went by, the cypress began to inexplicably vanish and little Debbie got fatter. Thank you. Is Paul here? Paul? Oh, well, I can't read Veronica Harmonica. Do it anyway? Okay. Veronica Harmonica, please take your clothes off now and bring your cunt lips to my face so I can start to blow. Thank you. Paul missed out, didn't he? Revenge of the Skunk Man. What's going on with this microphone? That's bullshit, man. Yeah, Revenge of the Skunk Man. Spike and Leroy saw their prey. A small skunk was ambling across the road when the men broke for it and ran for it. Leroy dove and got a hold of the critter's backside. Hold him down, Spike said as he lowered his drawers. Hold that lighter to my butt spot. Leroy lit the lighter and held it close as Spike emitted what could only be called a Richter scale fart, and the skunk became carbon. Yeah, shouted Spike. I told you this would be better than pissing on bull toads. And now I think it's time to get into some new material. That's right. Stuff I've been writing while y'all haven't been looking. Here's a story to read to your children at night when they beg you for that story and you don't want to read it to them and they keep on begging and begging. Well, then read them this. Silence, I command it. Silence, I'm commanding it. Thank you. Yes, it's time to hear the story of Ugly Fish. When Ugly Fish was born, his parents saw how ugly it was, and they abandoned him. Fortunately, he was adopted by a kindly old crab named Krabby. When Ugly Fish turned 4, he had just begun to like Krabby and respect him as a father. Krabby was dismembered by a triggerfish and eaten as Ugly Fish watched. Alone and hungry, he ventured forth into the dark corners of the ocean in search of a better life. Along the way, he was befriended by 3 carp, or at least they pretended to be his friends, until they ambushed him and pecked some of his scales off and called him names like Ugly and Baithead and String Poopy. And then they ran away and left him bleeding and crying, but he was determined. He remembered how Krabby had told him that one day he would be the greatest fish in the sea. Others would look to him for inspiration and they would follow him. He would be a leader, a fish to revere and respect. Yes, he was alone and hungry, and so he bit into a piece of tasty morsel, which turned out to be a rubber worm with a hook through it. Ugly Fish was hoisted to the surface where the captain's little boy Billy said, "It's too small to kill and eat, Dad. Can I keep him?" "Sure you can, son." And with that, the captain got Ugly Fish and ripped the hook out, breaking his lips. Then he threw him into a styrofoam cooler with other fish who were all dead except for one. "Oh, the shame of it all," said Ugly Fish. "No one will ever love me." "But I love you," said the one fish who was alive. "I know you're ugly, but I'm in love with your personality, your spirit." She was as pretty as fish could be, or at least Ugly Fish thought so. "Be my boyfriend," she said. "Together we can conquer anything. No fish should ever swim alone." You're right, Ugly Fish said. Ugly Fish said. You have restored my faith in myself. You have bolstered my self-confidence. Let's grow together and love each other, and then we can realize our dreams. He went to kiss her, but she died. Little Billy kept Ugly Fish in a dirty tank, and only once in a while did he use the air filter. Ugly Fish began to get really sick, and he became emotionally unstable, having to swim back and forth within the 1 square foot confines of his mucky cell. Then one day, several months later, Little Billy said to Ugly Fish, "I'm gonna set you free, Ugly Fish." Free, Ugly Fish thought to himself, free to realize my dreams. Well, goodness, this adventure has taught me much about life. I can use this knowledge to find happiness. Little Billy took Ugly Fish to the beach and let him out into the surf. But all the space was so overwhelming that Ugly Fish, after his captivity, could only swim in circles until he slowly died. Then a shark came and ate him. Several hours later, he was shit out into the sea. Thank you. Tell that to your children. He was shit out into the sea. Good night, little girl. Okay. Fred the Talking Pig. This is a happy one. One day, Fred the Talking Pig was wandering through the forest when suddenly the hunters shot it and used him for bacon. He lasted roughly a month. The end. It's awful. Oh, yeah? Well, maybe you'll like the story of Angry Clown. One day at Little Billy's birthday party, Trixie the Clown was performing magic tricks, but Stinky Ed, the neighborhood Billy, said, "Hey, Clown, all your tricks are stupid. I've seen them all before." So Trixie the Clown kicked Ed very hard in the face, and Ed cried. The end. Thank you. And now a poem by Tom Miller. Crushed the rose you gave me 'neath my fucking foot. Had I known I loved a slut, would have stuffed it up your butt. Sniff it, you disastrous bitch. Revel in that perfume stench. Nasty heathen gnarly hoe. Why did you lie to me? You hurt me so. And now, Draining Waitress, dedicated to Kate. I command silence. I command it. Draining Waitress. You're welcome. Dedicated to Kate. May I take your order? Kate, the waitress, politely asked. Yes, replied Stan the diner. Let me have the meatloaf and a Coke. Yes, sir, she replied, making notes in her pad. Oh, wait a minute, interrupted the diner. Make that a Pepsi instead of a Coke. Yes, sir, replied Kate, the waitress, slightly agitated that she had to correct the bill. You know, now that I think of it, said Stan, let's cancel the whole thing and just bring me the side of cottage cheese. Damn you, sir! Kate, the waitress, screamed. Damn you all to the pits of hell! She then jumped on the table, straddled Stan's head, and began to urinate. Here now, young lady, said Stan. No need to get pissy about it. Thank you. Yeah. Guy on fire. Jim and Phil were talking about a peculiar cloud formation in the sky above them when a guy came running by, completely engulfed in flames and screaming, "Help me! Water! Water!" Is that guy on fire? Asked Jim. Yeah, he sure is, replied Phil. Then they looked up at the cloud again and discovered that it now resembled a large face and not the bear it had looked like only moments earlier. I wrote some comedy jokes. I'd like to tell them to you now. What's green and sits in a tree? Many things. Yeah, fuck you. He heard my last show. He knows the punchlines. What do you get when you cross a Taco Bell with a prostitute? A walking value meal. Thank you. How many cats does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. No cats can perform this task. Filthy little Ed said to his mother, "Hey, Mom, if I tie my dick around your neck and get a boner, will you choke to death?" No, his mother replied, but if I stick your head up my snatch and clamp down, you'll be talking out of my pussy for the rest of your life. Roller coaster straight ahead. Philip was taught as a child by his mother to always obey the rules, and he had always heeded her advice until one day at the fair, Philip and his friends decided to ride the roller coaster. A sign at the entrance of the ride clearly stated that no one may stand in the car, but due to peer pressure, and because Bill thought it would be fun at the time. Bill? Philip. Philip thought it would be fun at the time. Bill didn't care. I don't know. And on with it, yes. Philip stood up and the car plummeted down the biggest dip of the ride. The support beam that didn't see Philip's screaming head coming exploded it off his neck in a spray of gore. Oh, the shame of Philip's mother, said his friend Ernie to his other friend Stan. How now will poor Philip ever be able to face her? Oh, my God. Radical feminists and lesbians for diversity. One day, Biff Boffum was wondering what goes on at a radical feminists and lesbians for diversity meeting. So he sat down at one of their gatherings. As butch as he was, he felt sure he would not be recognized as a man among them. The leader of the group began talking about plans to overtake sperm banks and to enslave men to do laundry and house cleaning. Male children born to artificially inseminated women would be immediately housed in labor camps, and all books by men would be shot into the sun. Gee, when they said radical, they weren't kidding, thought Bill to himself. And then, just to see what happened, Bill said, hey, have you all heard this joke? What do you call a woman? Life support system for a pussy. A man, one lady screamed, and then they got him and pussy whipped him. Thank you. Yeah. What happened? Okay, The Adventures of Super Bill Perry. Early one morning in the Gainesville Sun Center, Irma Fitzer was walking to work when suddenly she was confronted by two gun-wielding muggers who threatened her life and asked her for money. Her maniacal screams found their way to the ears of Super Bill Perry, who was watching the big game with his brother Mike. Mike, I'll be right back. I gotta go help out this lady who's over at the Sun Center getting mugged, said Bill to Mike as he rose from his seat. Will you let me know how the game comes out if I'm not right back? Sure, Bill, replied his brother. Bill went to the closet to get out his superhero costume, a tie-dye Grateful Dead t-shirt and a blinding black and yellow striped slacks, and then he headed out on Southeast 2nd Street past Lewis's hamburger joint where he waved all the customers. They all returned his wave because everyone knew Super Bill. Crossing over past St. Francis House to the Sun Center, Bill came to the scene and approached the thieves who now had Mrs. Fitzer's purse. Hey, you guys, said Bill. You know, what you're doing is wrong. Whenever I get treated like this, I feel really bad, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm always upfront with my feelings, you know. If you really think about it, you'd feel bad too if, like, your purse got stolen. Yeah, he's right, said one mugger. Yeah, he sure is, said the other. Give her back her purse. The thief handed the purse back over to Mrs. Fitzer. Now, doesn't that make you feel good? Asked Super Bill. It sure does, replied the thieves. Now, you two run along and remember, try to love everybody and be honest with your feelings. We will, Super Bill. Goodbye, they said in unison, and then they skipped away arm in arm, throwing flowers as they went. I'll see you when I look at you, said Bill, and then after they were gone, he said, what a couple of assholes. I got 2 songs and one more story to read for you, and then we're going to welcome Jack Mason up to the stage. Thank you. Hell, puppy. On a beautiful summer day in the small town of Handoff, Mayock, Bill Pfister sat with his new pet kitten in the lobby of the Menkenstein Pet Clinic next to an elegant-looking, heavy-set, middle-aged woman who was holding a small, adorable puppy. In the far corner of the lobby was a gaunt, skinny death metal girl wearing all black and holding a dead ferret. She had spent much of the morning applying makeup to make herself look like a corpse because that's the way she liked it. Bill leaned over and said, "My, that's a cute little puppy. What's wrong with it?" "Distemper," the lady replied. "She hasn't been the same since last week when she bit the children." "My goodness," Bill said, astonished. "What a shame." "Yes," the woman replied. "We buried him yesterday. That fellow over at the mortuary almost got him to look like human beings again. So now I brung it here to get fixed." "I hear Dr. Menkenstein's the best in the business." "Yes, he is," Bill replied. "I've brought my little kitten Buttons here to this clinic 9 times in the last week, and every time Dr. Menkenstein works miracles." Suddenly, a voice called out from the back room, "Hectorina!" The deaf girl stood and handed her ferret over to the veterinarian's assistant, who assured her that they would do everything they could to save it. Then she sat back down and began reading from her Bible. Bill couldn't help but notice how the cute little puppy trembled. Its big brown eyes looked nervously about, and its subtle whimperings yanked on Bill's heartstrings like the way a puppeteer yanks on the strings of a marionette. Poor thing, Bill thought to himself. If only he could do something to comfort the little suffering baby dog. "Ma'am," he said to the woman, "may I pet her?" "You better not," the lady replied. "She's got a mean streak. I'm the only one she won't bite." "Oh, please," Bill pleaded. He wanted so badly to help. "Please let me pet her." "Pet her if you want to," said the lady, "but I warn you now, she might nip you, and then you'll be sorry." "Don't be silly," replied Bill as he leaned over and reached out his hand. "I'm very good with animals. Puppies love me." With lightning speed, and before Bill could realize what was happening, the puppy circled up Bill's arm like a Black & Decker bandsaw, leaving a twisty mangling of blood and bone, and latched its razor-sharp teeth into Bill's neck. "Snowflake! God, no, not again!" But it was too late. Snowflake fell to the kitten in Bill's lap and chewed through his neck as Bill grabbed his own neck and began to apply pressure. Then Snowflake worked her face down into Bill's nether muff and bit hard. "God, Jesus, she's tearing the ass out of me," Bill said. The deaf girl stood, Bible in hand, and silhouetted in the grim directional lighting of the desk. She pointed to the action, yelling, "Demon spawn! Demon spawn!" The kitten's head fell from the kitten and rolled across the floor, where Deaf Girl kicked it away and into the mouth of the lady, and she couldn't help but to swallow it. Unfortunately, it lodged in her throat, where air passing through it made everything she said from this point on kitty talk. "Out with ye, fire beast," Hectorina screamed. "Back with ye to the eternal flames of hell." Now she had done it. Demon pets don't often put up with that kind of language for too long. Snowflake flew through the air over to Hectorina and latched onto her boob. "My boob!" Hectorina screamed. "Not my new boob!" She began to twist her body back and forth, whipping the puppy from side to side, but still it held fast. Silicone gel sprayed freely, and Hectorina went from a triple D to a double A trainer in 2 seconds flat. "Gotta save her," said Bill under his breath. "Must kill puppy from hell. Must save Hectorina." And with that, he bolted from his chair and got the puppy in a chokehold. "Meow, meow, meow," screamed the lady. "Meow, meow." Then Bill saw it. How could he have been so foolish not to notice before? What Bill had earlier mistaken for spots were actually 666 marks. Duh! Had I only seen this before, Bill thought to himself, this whole episode could have been avoided, but now it was too late. Bill had to save Hectorina. It was the only thing to do now. "No," said Bill, "don't take her." And then, in his best authoritative scream he could muster, he shouted, "Take me!" He ran with the puppy through the window and fell to his death on the stairwell to the basement, crushing the puppy between his head and a rock. Meow, 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 meow. The lady said in a sigh of relief, which loosely translated means, hey, probably saved me about $30 in medical expenses. The veterinary assistant returned with the ferret alive and good as new. Oh, thank you, Hectorina said. You've given me back my only friend. Dr. Menkenstein is truly a man of miracles. Thank you. Okay, what's going on here? There's strange noises in hell. Okay. Yeah, would you mind? Oh, that's better. That's better. Okay, stand by. 2 new songs I wrote. This is the Tom Miller Environmental Awareness song. Love, 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 rainbows, flowers, love. God made rainbows as a promise that he'll never flood or drown us. Birds, clouds, sky, pretty, pretty sky. Everything is killing us and making people die. You can get an STD and you can smoke some drugs. You can eat bad chemicals or snort polluted dust. Crabs, 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 dirty stinking crabs. We can take the planet and just stick it up our ass. Thank you. And finally, this took me a couple of, been working on this for a couple of months. This is my blues song. And, I'm not really, I do have a guitar book coming out, but I'm not really that good of a guitar player, so I just want you to bear that in mind. I mean, I don't want to apologize before I perform, that's bad, but okay. I didn't. I'm fine, I'm good. Be my love kitten, honey. Purr for me all night. Be my love kitten, pretty mama. Purr for me all night. And if you'll be my love kitten, baby, I'll be your pussy loving wife. Yeah, I'm a number 2 pencil, baby. So, honey, grind me to a point. Yeah, I'm a streamlined pencil sex queen. Baby, grind me to a point. I draw on your onion skin paper booby. Later, maybe we'll go see a movie. I give you all my loving. You give me all your time. I take out my Discover card. You only charge me a dime. Yeah, be my banana cream bake, baby, honey. Let me top you with my personal whipped cream. I got 30 leather products here, goo-goo lady, that you ain't never seen. Oh! Yeah. So be my love kitten, mamacita. rub up and down my leg. Be my love kitten, ballerina snarky, rub up and down my leg. And if you'll be my love kitten, honey, I'll never get you declawed. Or have you spanked? Thank you. Jack Mason up next.